All right, let's jump right in and tackle one of those tricky spots in English grammar that trips everybody up. Countable versus uncountable nouns. But don't worry, by the end of this quick explainer, you're going to have this down pat.
So have you ever actually stopped to think about this? Why does two waters just sound, well, wrong? But two bottles of water sounds perfectly fine. This one little question gets right to the heart of the whole thing.
And take a look at these. We can say 3 cars, no problem. But 3 rices? Nope. We can ask for some advice, but we never ask for an advice. I promise you, this isn't random. There's a really clear logic here, and we're about to crack the code.
Okay, so first things first. What you can count and what you can't. Let's break down the 2 main categories of nouns that are at the center of this whole concept.
Let's kick things off with the easy ones. Countable nouns. I mean, the name pretty much says it all, right? And these are individual things you can actually count. 1 book, 2 chairs, 3 ideas. The key feature to remember is they have both a singular form, apple, and a plural form, apples. Simple enough.
And then we have the other side of the coin, uncountable nouns. Think of these as a single mass, a substance, or an abstract idea. You can't just stick a number in front of them. You'd never say 1 water or 2 rices. They're treated as a single concept, and, this is super important, they do not have a plural form.
So, you're probably asking, how do you know which is which? Well, here's the good news. Uncountable nouns often fall into a few common groups. Once you see the pattern, it gets a whole lot easier. Let's take a look.
Take a look at these groups. You've got your liquids, grains, and abstract ideas like information. But here's a really cool distinction I love. You can count pigs, the animals, but pork, the meat you eat, is uncountable. See that? It's the substance, not the individual thing. The same logic applies to big, broad categories like furniture or money.
So, if you can't count things like water or rice directly, how do we talk about specific amounts? Well, this is where we use what I like to call the uncountable hack. It's a super simple way to make them countable. It's a simple 3-step process. First, you pick a unit, like a container, a cup, or a weight, a kilo. Second, you connect it with the little word of. And third, you just add the uncountable noun itself, a cup of coffee, a kilo of meat. It's that easy. And just like that, we've solved the mystery from the start. You don't say 2 waters, you say 2 bottles of water. The light bulb moment is realizing you're counting the containers, not the liquid itself. Now that we understand the difference, let's see how it changes the way we ask about quantity. This is an absolutely crucial skill.
The rule could not be simpler. For countable nouns like apples, you always ask how many. For uncountable nouns, the liquids, the concepts, you always ask how much water, how much money. Getting this right is a huge step towards sounding way more natural.
Okay, let's lock this in. I want you to repeat after me, right now, wherever you are. Ready? Let's go. How many apples? Good. And now, how much water? Excellent. I know it feels a little silly, but saying it out loud really helps it stick. Fantastic. Now that we've got questions down pat, let's move on to the words we use in our answers to describe amounts. Think of what's coming up as your ultimate quantifier cheat sheet. These words, like some, many, or a little, are called quantifiers. And the key thing to remember is that you can't just mix and match them. Certain words only work with certain types of nouns.
Okay, so here's the cheat sheet. Notice that some words, like some and a lot of, are flexible. They work with both. But here's the critical distinction. Many and a few are only for countable nouns, and much and a little are only for uncountable nouns. So you have a few friends, but a little time. Mastering this difference is huge.
You've seen the rules and you had the cheat sheet. Now it's time to practice. Let's test your knowledge with a few quick questions. You ready? First up, how blank oranges are on the table? Is it many or much? Just ask yourself, can I count oranges one by one?
All right, next question. There isn't blank time left. Many or much? Think about it. Is time an individual item or a general concept?
And the last one, we have blank chairs, but not enough for everyone. A little or a few. Go back to that mental cheat sheet.
Got your answers? All right, moment of truth. Let's see how you did. And here they are. It's how many oranges, because oranges are countable. It's there isn't much time, because time is an uncountable concept. And finally, it's we have a few chairs, because chairs are individual, countable items. So, how did you do?
Let's do one final super quick recap to bring it all together. For countable things like books, you ask how many, and use words like many or a few. For uncountable things like water, you ask how much, and use much or a little. That's the core logic right there. So I'll leave you with one final little puzzle to think about. Why is the word furniture uncountable, but chair is totally countable? It goes right back to that core idea of a general category versus a specific item. Thanks for joining me for this little explainer, and keep asking those great questions.